All right, so I'm going to solve these proportions. Remember, first step, 0 works. So I'm going to cross multiply, and I'm going to multiply 12 times 32, and that's equal to 2x times 3x. So 12 times 32 is the same as 10 times 32, which is 320, and then 2 times 32, which is 64. So that would be 320 and 64, which would be 384. That is equal to 2x times 3x is 6x squared. So I divide both sides by 6. So I'm going to get x squared is equal to 384 over 6. Right. So 6 goes into 38 6 times with 2 left over. And then 6 goes into 24 4 times. So I get x squared equals 64. Oops, equals. And all I'm doing is solving for x, right? So I take the square root of both sides, and x does not equal 8. It equals plus or minus 8. There are 2 answers there. Okay. And if you're following along, you can stop me if you have a question. But all right, so then I'm going to cross multiply here as well. So I'm going to do 4 times 36 is equal to z minus 1 times z minus 1. And since these are binomials, they have to be in parentheses. Good golly. Okay, and you can't be making stuff up here either. So 4 times 36, well, 2 times 36 is 72. And then when I double that, I get 144. And then here, you FOIL this, you distribute it, you do the box, you do whatever it is that you want to call it. But this is going to give me z squared minus 2z plus 1. So now I have a quadratic, so I need to factor it. So I'm going to move this over here, and I get z squared minus 2z plus 1. No, I'm not. I'm going to get minus 143 equals 0. Okay. And then I need to factor this, which means I need 2 numbers that multiply to give me 143 and divide and then combine to give me the negative 2. So 2 numbers that multiply to give me 143. Negative 143. Anybody give me any of those? So does 1 work? 2, 3, no, 4, 5, no, 6. I can pretty much cut out any even number because that's not an even number. So 7, no. Does 9 work? No. Does 11 work? No. Sure about that? How many times does 11 go into 14? 1. With how many left over? 3. And then 11 goes into 33. How many times? 3. So 11 is my first divisor that I've even found. But 11 goes into 143, or goes into 14 once, with 3 left over. Then 11 goes into 33 3 times. So 11 times 13 is 143. Do you see how I progressed through those numbers? I didn't just stare at it and freak out because I didn't know anything, right? Like, oh my God, I don't know the numbers. I wouldn't expect for you to look at that and just, bam, know that it's 11 and 13. You have to kind of go through it. But you can start eliminating. If it's not an even number, then, and then 2 doesn't work, then 6 isn't going to work, 8 isn't going to work, because all those are divisible by 2. So you don't have to try those. You just keep on with the odd numbers. All right. So then I need them to add together. So one of these has to be negative because I need this negative 2, which means my bigger one is negative. So that means then 0 is equal to, factor it like this. And this is going to be minus 13. Oh, I totally wrote 11. Minus 13 and plus 11. Then I set each one of these equal to 0. So z minus 13 equals 0. And z plus 11 equals 0. So z equals 13 and negative 11. Oh, goodness. What just happened there? Oh, bam. There we go. Oh, God. No, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter to order those at all. No. As long as your signs are right, you're fine. Okay. So then on this one, again, I'm going to cross multiply, so I get 80 times x equals 2 times 120. And I know it's these kind of problems where y'all are like, that's so dumb. Why do I have to write that down? Because that's why on here, what a lot of people were trying to do on problems like this was trying to multiply these before you wrote them down. And half of those people couldn't even multiply it after they wrote it down like this. So if you're trying to do that in your head, that is not a good idea at all. So this gives me 80x equals 240. So x equals 3. Then here, I cross multiply. This gives me x plus 3 times x minus 3. That's equal to 8 times 5. So then I FOIL this, and I skipped some steps on this one. I'm not on this one, though, because some people are doing this and getting lucky but not doing it right. When I multiply x times x, I get x squared. And then negative 3 times x gives me negative 3x. Positive 3 times x gives me plus 3x. And then minus 9 equals 40. Then I combine my like terms. So these get combined, and that combines to 0. So I get x squared minus 9 equals 40. It's not because I just multiplied the first two and multiplied the second two. It's because it's a difference of 2 squares. So x squared equals 49. X equals plus or minus 7. That ends your test review. One of the things that is not on the test review that will be on your test is conditional statements, and you got your assignment back on conditional statements. So make sure you understand the truth values, which ones go together, like the conditional statement and the contrapositive and the converse and the inverse, which ones have matching truth values.